tankers, I'm wot Blitz and welcome back to my videos. Now this video is going to be on the 113. This tank has been forgotten in Blitz over the past years. Really, if you play a tier 10 match, the chances of playing against or with a 113 are probably about 1 in 100. That is how rare this vehicle is. And the odd thing is that it's actually a very good and strong vehicle. And if you are watching this video, I would suggest actually pick one up. I'd say ignore half the lines you're going down and go for this line, because this is all around one of the best lines in the game. Starting off, this tank has an amazing 3,000 damage per minute, not to mention the awesome turret armor. Now notice how I said turret armor, because the hull armor on this tank is not super spectacular. Skate Extreme made a video on this tank, and so did Bushka, and they both said that the armor is very, very strong. Unfortunately, I have to disagree on that aspect. The front plate of this vehicle is the same as the Tier 8 Glacial 112, which makes the front plate, when aiming about dead on, about 270. But unfortunately, most tanks are taller than this vehicle, so they'll be aiming a little bit above it, making that upper plate about 256. Now, one nice thing about this plate is that it's at a very sharp angle, so if you do manage to angle it just a bit up, you make almost all shells an auto ricochet, which is very nice, but that's only with AP or APCR shells. Heat shells will easily penetrate this tank, as 260, 270 is no match for tier 10 heat, especially since this tank actually has, I think, the highest heat penetration for a tier 8 heavy, tier 10 heavy in the game. I think it's sitting at around 279, I think this gun gets when I run calibrated with it, which brings the damage per minute down to about 2,800, but I don't really care if I can get heat penetration so good that I can penetrate turrets very easily. And you can see the armor does hold up a bit, as I am bouncing some shells here. I managed to block 1,500 damage already, but you can also see that pat and pen me pretty easily in the sides. And the tank has one weakness, which is it has zero spaced armor on it. Literally zero. So don't run this tank like an IS-7. Those sides will not act like an IS-7 whatsoever. The good thing is that the turret, as I said before, is completely impenetrable pretty much. Like, the cheeks of the turret are the weakest part. That's about 226, but if somebody hits the cheeks, they're an amazing shot, because right after the cheeks are about 300, 400 auto ricochets everywhere. This tank does have some cupolas, but those are also pretty thick at 200 to 260. It's actually a very, very thick tank. Now, when you angle this tank up with the 120mm side armor you get, you can actually get that front up to about 270 and the sides still an auto ricochet. It can be a very hard tank to penetrate. But as you saw in this game, when using it against tanks that have gun depression or know what they're doing, it's very easy to penetrate it, especially when you shoot right through that front track wheel. But one thing that most people don't know about this vehicle is that it goes 50 kilometers per hour, which is insane. And you'd be like, oh, okay, well, the IS-7 goes 50 kilometers per hour, and the IS-7 has better frontal armor. Yes, and yes. Unfortunately, the IS-7 has a much worse power-to-weight ratio. The IS-7 gets to 50 kilometers per hour. I don't think I've actually ever seen an IS-7 hit 50 kilometers per hour. This tank goes 0 to 50 in about 5 seconds maybe. It takes almost no time for it to hit 50 kilometers, which is great. This tank can easily chase down tanks that are running from it, and I'll show you that in the next replay. Now, biggest downfall of this tank is you can see we lost 19,000 credits this game, and you'd be like, well, how does that make sense? Well, if you go to detailed and you look at credits, this tank costs 22,000 to repair. I think that is the most expensive tank to repair in the game. I don't know why they made it so expensive. You'd think a Chinese tank would be made out of plastic. Well, I'll tell you it's not. It's probably made out of gold or something, because for it to be 20,000 to repair is ridiculous. But let's get stuck into that second replay. Now I am loaded onto the map Faust, and I am going to be pushing medium. I called the team and told them to push medium. That is one way actually to help with your teammates. I'll put that in a future video. If you do want your team to cooperate a bit better and you know what you're doing in the game, tell them to push a certain way. If you don't, you're sort of causing a loss on yourself if they push the other way and you don't like that, because you should bring it upon yourself to at least try to get them to go your way. But ignoring that, I am running the 113. You can see I had to stop for that FV. Now, the 113 is also a very low tank. It's more like a Russian medium if you look at it. It is very small. I'm pretty much the same height as that Object 140 next to me, and what's nice about that is that makes this vehicle very hard to hit when it's using its 6 degrees of gun depression it gets, because you can see it's very low down. So you can hide that hull very easily, use that amazingly armored turret, which I've bounced multiple 183 shells, Jagdpanzer shells, very easily, and just tear apart your enemy. Not only that, this gun is extremely accurate. This is probably one of the most accurate tier 10 guns of the game. And along with the heat penetration it gets, it makes this tier 10 gun extremely threatening. You'll see there's an IS-7 that's going to shoot later on in this match, and I'm going to out-reload him by about 5 seconds. Well, not 5, but I out-reload him by quite a bit. And the reason is because an IS-7 only has 2,500 damage per minute, and I have 2,800. Which means that even if an IS-7 pushes on you when you're running this vehicle, you can fire heat rounds and still kill an IS-7 before that IS-7 kills you, which is insane. You can see here we tap this Jagdpanzer once, and in 8 or 7 seconds I'll have another shell. This tank has the exact same reload as an FV2 and 5B, and personally I hate the FV2 and 5B. I don't know why, I just cannot run it. So what I will say is that if you have the FV2 and 5B and you like it, this is an armored version of that tank. Just take away the hesh and give it heat pen. It is just such a good vehicle. And you can see here I drive up that hill pretty quickly, load some high explosive. Come on, 625 damage with a high explosive, which is very, very good. The average I think is 515. That was just a max roll. You can see that IS-7 shot before me, and I still out-reloaded him. That is how quick the reload on this tank is. It is super quick. And you can see we're already going 30 kilometers per hour. It doesn't look like it, but we are. This IS-7 is, I don't know what he's doing, to be honest. It's a good thing that we have some good players on our team, because he would have really screwed us if there weren't. You can see tap. Don't even know how that hit, but there's apparently some Chinese bias in this game too, because that shot was ridiculous. Again, I'm just chasing this OBJ-268 down. You can see I'm easily keeping up with him all the way. Going 40 kilometers per hour uphill, gonna ram him, spin him, and boom. And now there's an AMX 50B across the map, and I want to get that 50B. So I am going to, on the run, take a snapshot, bam, hit him in the turret, even break his turret ring so he couldn't even turn his turret. So we are breaking now 3.2 thousand damage, and the FV4005 is a fairly mobile tank. Going uphill, we are almost passing him. We're able to keep up with him. He gets one shell in, we get the final shell in. 3,633 damage. And this game was pretty easy. It didn't require much effort. Any player could have done this game, and it really wasn't that hard. And anybody could play this tank. It's an extremely good tank. If you aren't really going down any line right now and you're wondering which line to go down, you're starting off the game and you're wondering which line to go down, get the 113. It is going to make you happy. But you might need to run some premium or credit boosters when you do run it, because you can see the only reason we went positive is because of my vehicle repairs. If we had lost this game, I would have come at about 0 credits, which is still sad. But it is a very good vehicle, and I'm going to show you guys my equipment loadout, because most people do ask me, so let me pull up the 113. Also, if you look in your garage, you can see there is actually an Italian little thing at the bottom, a filter, so don't know why they put that in yet, but it is there just for a little hint. But my equipment loadout is, I'm running calibrated, which you can see brings your heat, not 379, sorry, 369, which is still ridiculous. And I put on improved modules, I put on improved optics, both of the aiming times. I put on the turret armor because it makes your turret just that bit stronger. Because if the turret's normally 300 thick, it'll still add like 30-20 armor of 4%. I run the engine accelerator because one of the big issues with this tank I forgot to get into is the traverse speed. You can see is only 25 degrees a second. So if you run this, it only brings up 2.43. If you run this, it brings up 1.55, which those two numbers are about. You can't even tell the difference, and the engine power is a much big difference, so I do like the engine power better. It brings your average speed up by 2. and I run Toolbox. This tank is a very slow track repair speed time, and the tracks do get destroyed quite often, so put that on, and just a 15% consumable cooldown. But that is the loadout of this tank. Not only that, but this new camo that came out is awesome looking. I'm definitely going to pick it up. I just haven't picked it up yet, and it actually will hide the weak spots of this tank, is my opinion. But that is just my opinion on this vehicle. If you like it, make sure to pick one up because it is, again, as I said, very strong. Don't know why people don't go down this line. Maybe just because it's Chinese or there's something off about it, but I think it's great. Even the Tier 9, the Tier 8 is also very good. The only tank that sucks on the line is the Tier 7. If you're going for the 121B, I mean the WZ, yeah, the WZ121, don't get it. It is not really even closely compared to this vehicle. Pick this one up. However, thanks for watching my video. If you did like it, please let me know why in the comments down below. If you didn't like it, let me know as well in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe. And I also created a Discord. I'll leave the link in the bottom down below. I created that so you guys can send me your replays much easier than my email. Thanks for watching.